Alright, Brandon Watson here, PDGA number 33114. Been a little bit, so I figured I'd do an in a bag for everybody, and got some sweet mail calls that rolled in the last few days. Got the new patch for the bag, had one on my Latitude Luxury bag, and now that I got the Ranger back up and running, I'll put one on there as well. Another sticker with my order. Shout out to Bobby Brown for the hookup on the Disc Golf Answer Man t-shirt. One of those nice soft ones. Looking forward to wearing that all the time. Got the Dialogue shirt. Love shirts like this, you know, disc golf shirts that you can wear out in public, because people ask questions. I wear a dynamic polo just about every day for work, and a lot of people confused. Do you really work for the post office? Do you work for Dynamic Discs? What is Dynamic Discs? And it opens up the conversation, which is introducing people to the sport for those that aren't aware. And you know, just recently run across a marketing manager for Topper's Pizza, who is a fellow disc golfer. We got our disc golf app, the producer there, also another Wisconsin disc golfer. So gonna hopefully start meeting up with some of these guys and grow both my business network as well as our disc golf network. But so got the Ranger bag. I don't really carry a lot of discs anymore, kind of narrowed down molds, and usually it's just duplicates of each. So the go-to, which has been my baby lately, is my Blend Warden. I've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th ace on it at the Wisconsin Tour finale, hole number 9. Funny little story, called the ace after flipping my disc over and said, I'm putting the ace right here. And a friend of mine goes, hey, you know, if you get it, I get to write it down. So you'll see that the text is a little bit different than my standard, but I thought for sure that would be you know, something neat to do. And turns out 3 holes later, he went and got an ace, and we were the only 2 aces for the whole tournament. So something to it. But that's my main driver. I drive with it all the time. Started to putt with it a little bit more. If it's got good karma on it, just keep using it. The other putters that I have in the bag, this is going to be my my winter Blend Warden with white putters. Start to put them away because snow will be falling soon enough. So got the Sweet Mr. Disc Golf stamp. Thanks, you know, Mike Solt, for all the support he's been giving me the last year and a half here and into the future. Really glad for his sponsorship. And the other putter, of course, a Judge, a Blend Judge. Really like the feel of the blends. You know, grippy yet firm. Something that I've, you know, was never a fan of real slick plastics. So this has that perfect combination because I also don't like it too gummy. The only, just speaking of too gummy, the only soft putter that I actually use is the Soft Cenis, and it's just a utility workhorse. You know, when there's a little bit of wind, I don't trust the Judge on an approach, on a drive. You know, hyzer where you don't want it to skip anywhere. This thing hits its mark, sticks there, and absolutely love the feel of it. And it's got a little bit of the thumb groove going on because I've been using it for a few years, but you'll see. Got several aces here on this one too. 4 aces. It just goes in the basket, so you got to keep using it. The mid-range in the bag, I've got the trusty Verdict. We got the Panda stamp here. I was actually given to me by a friend, Andrew Schultz. Needed a new Fusion trespass or Verdict at the time because mine was flipping up a little bit, and this thing is just so predictable, so controllable, and it's got me a lot of birdies. So next, that Moonshine Truth for a little bit of an anhyzer. You know, pop something flat, and it's just really controllable, really easy to use disc. One of my favorites. Don't get to use it too much in my home course just because holes are either too short or too long, and but I love it, you know, when I head out on some of the other tournaments I play. The Justice here, we got that Riverside stamp. A disc I don't really use a whole lot. It's in there for a few courses, a few shots, usually just some sort of a big hyzer that I want to make sure it goes left and drops quickly. So it's a utility disc. I've, you know, flick it once in a while in the wind. If I got a strong crosswind that's going to make my normal shot skip or, you know, make it a little bit difficult, I'll flick it into a crosswind. But other than that, I barely ever use it, but it's in the bag just because it is a great utility disc. Moving on to my my fairways. I've got the starting to be worked in Southern Florida Open Felon. More and more just recently I've noticed it to kind of pop flat and fly a lot straighter, almost like my other fairway driver, which would be the Convict, which I've quickly become in love with. Throwing it quite a bit. Just did a video today with one of my drives, hole 18 at Valrath Park, and of course once the video's rolling I got it off the smacked it off the cage. Would have been a lot cooler to get an ace, but very predictable, very controllable. Even when there's some wind, you know, you just nice gentle shot, and I don't know, it's comes back a lot more than sometimes as you feel like it should, but love it. Going on to there, understable. I like a lot of fast discs for whatever reason. I've learned how to, you know, use backhand and forehand a lot more, so I think that's part of the reason I've cut down on discs. But I got my Pickle Open. It's one of the stamps that I did for the tournament I ran this year. Pickle Open sponsored by Dynamic Discs, of course, and it is a Freedom, and really all I use it for is rollers or just ridiculous big hyzer flip shots, some max distance where if it's a safe open field, I'll just rip on this and, you know, let it do what it's supposed to do. More of a fun disc, but again, fast, and I've actually found a lot of the guys with less of an arm that, you know, they throw it on a little bit of a hyzer and it'll get them a lot more distance than they're getting with some of their current shots. From that, I've got the VIP with our old Team Trilogy stamp, VIP World. And this thing's beat in a little bit, so you pop it on a hyzer, she goes flat. Sometimes she'll turn even a little bit more if you give it some power, but just for big distance. World and I quickly became good friends, and my favorite distance driver. And I used to throw a lot of race, a lot of destroyers, and kind of in between, but a lot much faster as far as that goes. So big fan of it. Next, one of my newer discs that I really enjoy, Biofusion Enforcer. It's like a slightly more stable world. Slightly more stable world for me, and again, got another ace here on it. Enforcer seems to be a real lucky controllable disc for me. Come on, buddy. You want to say hi? Look at the camera. You're sneaking in here, no? So Enforcer, of course, I've got my Lucid. Big fan of Lucid plastic. Another ace here. Both of them hole 13, Valrath Park. I throw the Verdict probably 90% of the time, and the few times this summer that I've thrown the Enforcer on it, just a little bit softer. I've managed to get aces, so I don't know if I should switch up, but love it. Love the day glow. And I guess I skipped over this one, but we got another sweet Riverside World. It's the VIP, so a little bit more stable. Kind of similar to the Bio Enforcer for me. Usually throwing it on big hyzers, or, you know, where I wanted to finish a little bit at the end with some good distance. So, but that's my bag. You know, really enjoying the setup. it's been working well for me, and hopefully if anybody has any questions, feel free to hit me up, and always glad to answer them, help out, give any advice, tips, and willing to take advice and tips from anybody. So that's it. Look forward to seeing you guys out on the course.